So the next thing that we want to do is get our domains so that they can use TLS. So right now, if I go to my domain, it loads up fine, but you can see it says not secure. And if I look at or try to go to HTTPS, I get an error, right? So it's a problem for users that want to come to my site that are going to see this and leave. And I have the same problem with the www. Okay, it's showing up as not secure. So I want to configure SSL or TLS for this. If I come into the app service for my application, I can see that I have the two domains and that they're not secure. And one of the other things to show you, so we set this as a custom domain. When we set a custom domain, the URL here on the overview page also changes to that custom domain. So that's useful for us. Okay, so let's go to Namecheap, logged in, and let's go to the dashboard, and let's go to SSL certificates. So when you used your GitHub Student Pack to get your domain, you probably got an SSL certificate as well. You had that ability. If you don't have it, go ahead and get it now. And it'll show up in here. And it'll show up like this one that says you have 1 year on it and you have the ability to activate it. Okay, so we want to go ahead and activate our new SSL certificate. And we need to create a certificate signing request, or a CSR. So let's click here. And we don't see Azure anywhere in that list. So let's come down and use decoder.link. And we're using it to create a CSR generator. And we're going to do it for businessanalytics.me. I'm in Iowa City, Iowa. Organization, I just put, what might be the company name or the organization name. For the email, I'm just going to use this generic admin@businessanalytics.me. Okay, and generate. Now, this is going to create three things for me. It's going to create the certificate signing request, a private key, and a certificate. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, and I want to save those. So I'm going to create a new text document. Okay, I'm going to grab the private key first. Paste it in here. Make sure you get this and this. Both have to be present. Okay, so this is the private key. And then I'm going to change this file extension to just be key. And I'm going to create one more. Just call it certificate.txt, and I'll come in here and copy this. And again, make sure you get it all. And then the last thing, I'm going to grab the CSR. Okay, I can go back here to my Activate, enter CSR. I can paste this in. And I make sure I get from the begin to the end, get it all. And you can see when I do that, it decodes, and I can see that it is my primary domain. Double check that you're spelling that correctly. Right, that should be your domain showing up in there. Now, I have different ways to validate. I can upload a file. That's kind of a pain. I could receive an email. And if I did that, if I'm using the .mes and some of these other brand domains like this, I only get certain choices. If I'm using a .com, there's one in here that's like a whois that points off to the email that is associated with your account. I don't have any of that available to me here. I'm going to go with add a CNAME record. Easy enough to do. Okay, add a CNAME record. Who do we send the SSL file to? All right, I want this sent to my home email that is associated with my Namecheap account. Yours might be your University of Iowa email. Okay. But it's not the like admin at your domain email because we don't have access to that yet. So make sure that it's something that you have access to. Make sure it is the email that's associated with your Namecheap account. And I'll submit that. Okay, now I'm going to go to the Edit Methods page. And under the Edit Methods, I'm going to Get Record. I want just this first piece. I don't want the dot, and I don't want the domain name for host. I just want the host name. So let me copy that. And now I'm going to get into my domain list. I'm going to get into the domain that I want to modify. Okay, and I want to add a new record, and it's a CNAME record. This is the host, and then I need the target, which is all of this. I'm going to turn this all the way down to 1 minute because I want this thing to hurry up and validate. And I'm going to save it. All right, I've saved it. I'm going to grab, this time I'm going to grab all of this. So the host and the domain and the top level domain. And I'm going to click Done. And one of the other things I can do, I can look up and see if the record is correct. So if I come in here, I can paste, okay, that's that weird name and the domain name and the top level domain, and then do a CNAME lookup. And I can see that the record was found, it's published correctly, things look good. Nice, okay. I'm going to come back to SSL certificates, and I can see that this is still pending. So I'm going to come in and try to spur this along by going back to this page, clicking Edit Methods, and clicking Save Retry. Now that everything is all set, I want to retry it. Okay. And I can now see that it was issued. So that means I have a certificate in the email that I just put in there. So let me get in my email and get that certificate. Okay, it may take a few minutes, and also check your spam, but you should get 2 emails, and they'll be from Komodo and Positive SSL. And you're looking for this one from Positive SSL. And if you scroll down, it has an attachment, and you can download the attachment, which is a zip file. And I'm going to just extract everything here. Okay, I have a folder called businessanalytics.me now. And if I look inside of there, I have 2 files, a CA-bundle and a CRT. The CRT is the certificate, and the CA bundle is a supporting file that we need. Let's grab the private key. Remember, I copied and pasted it out here and named it key. Let's put it in here as well. Now, Azure does not like the CRT files. It wants the files in the format of PFX. So we have to convert it. So I'm going to use decoder.link again. I'm going to use SSL converter. And I'm going to choose this PIM, which is the CRT extension, to PKCS number 12, which is the PFX. Okay, as I look at these files, I need the certificate file. So that's the CRT. I need the key file. What's the private key? It's the one I copied and pasted, renamed the file extension. And I need the bundle file. CA, Certificate Authority - bundle. And then I need to give this a password. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. And I'm going to click convert. It's successfully converted. Now I can download it. And I will extract it. Okay, it's very long. I'm going to rename it. I name them like this, so if I have multiple websites that have certificates, I can keep everything straight on my computer. It's just a keep it simple for humans kind of a thing. I'm going to just drag it over here, so now everything is all in one location, and I can save this folder in my SSL certificates folder on my computer, and then I just have a copy of it. Okay, so I should have the CA bundle and the CRT. Those came from expanding the download, expanding the email download. The .key file is the one I copied and pasted over. It's the private key. And the PFX is the one that I get out of here that was converted. Let me go back into Azure. And I want to add a binding. Upload a PFX certificate. And I need to choose the one I just converted. And it wants the password. Okay, now I need to choose the certificate. I have 2 because I was testing this just a minute ago. I'm going to take a shot that it's this one. We'll see what happens. Add the binding. Looks like I got it right. Okay. And it was the one that was 9.3. Okay, and then I need to add a binding for the other one. And it was the 9.3 one. You probably only have one choice there. Like I said, I had two because I was experimenting with them. Okay, so now everything looks secure. So if I come to the domain, I should be able to visit https://www.businessanalytics.me. It works. Notice I've got a padlock. I should be able to visit just businessanalytics.me. That works. Notice I've got a padlock. And if the user goes to HTTP, it works, but they get a not secure. And if they go to http://www. Again, that works, but they get a not secure. So there's no reason to have the HTTP. I've got the SSL certificates. Everything's working good there. So I'm going to come in, and under this custom domains again, I'm going to flip it over to HTTPS only. I'm going to turn that on. Successfully set to on. Let's refresh everything up. Okay. So now what happens anytime a user tries to visit an http://www, it's going to automatically redirect them to the HTTPS. And if they try to visit the HTTP, again, it automatically redirects them to the HTTPS. So it automatically redirects. It's automatically secure. We have confidentiality as the users are entering data between our website and their computer. All right, as they're typing into their browser, and their browser sends the data up. So if I were to type 1972 in here, that data is actually encrypted. It's carried in the body of the request between my browser and the web server. Well, that's not good. Let me go back and just make sure everything's stuck. Yeah, it looks okay. I'm just going to come up here and stop it. Give it just a second and start it. It's taking a little bit longer because it has to, everything has to get spun back up on the server side. There we go. So these servers are fairly underpowered, and they just got hung. No big deal. Well, I mean, it would be a really big deal if this was production, but it's not. So we just restarted it. Yep, everything seems to be working, and it's all working inside of the secure.